If I look in my outliner, I've still got two nodes. I've got my geometry group and I've got my flower sac placement control. If I wanted to import this into a scene, ideally it would only be one node. So I'm going to take those two things and group them together. And we'll just call this one flower sac group. Again, if your character had a name, you would put that in place of flower sac. Now these group nodes are really important for holding things together and holding all kinds of information, but I don't really want animators to have access to them because accessing the group node is a great way to mess things up. So you know how I'm really fanatical about naming and everything that's a group gets a capital GRP? What I'm going to do is this. Up here in my search by name, I'm going to put in an asterisk for wildcard, then GRP, and then another asterisk in case I have group nodes that are numbered. And that's going to select all of my group nodes. Look at that! All of those group nodes are selected. In order to preserve the group nodes, I'm just going to come to my channel box, and here in the channel box, I am going to select all the attributes, right-click, and I'm going to lock and hide selected. And that's going to make all of the group node attributes go away. That does not affect any of their children, so you can see I can still take this shoulder control. It'll still rotate, but the group node won't do anything. The group node is preserved. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that all of my group nodes don't give anybody access. The group nodes will always stay together. It's just the curves that people can select and manipulate. So that is thing number one. The group nodes are protected. The next thing that I know is that we have two or three really specific functions. So these IK controls, these are translate only. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to make sure that they function as translate only controls. In other words, I don't want people to be able to rotate or scale. Rotate and scale are irrelevant for these controls. They are IK controls. They are translate only. So I'm going to select all of these attributes. I'm going to right-click. You can lock selected if you're feeling a little unsure about what you're doing. Or you can lock and hide if you're like, dude, these things are never going to rotate. Which is fine. They should never rotate. They should only translate. This is a translate control. It should only translate. It should not rotate. Conversely, these controls here, my circle controls, are FK. They're never going to translate. I'm going to lock and hide. They're never going to scale. Lock and hide. These controls here should be rotate only. And again, if you're feeling uncertain and you don't know and you're a little nervous, go ahead and lock them but don't hide them. The difference is, here we'll take the root control, the root control is translate and rotate. In other words, it does this, whee, and it does this, whee, but it doesn't scale. If you lock like this, you'll see that turns gray and I won't be able to scale, but the attributes stay there and it's really easy to unlock them if you ever need them. If you lock and hide, they're just gone forever. The edit menu of the channel box has a channel control window. The channel control window is not the greatest interface, but if I go through it and I find scale XYZ, that will let me move to the keyable column, which puts them back over here, and also move from locked to non-locked. So you can get back channels that are locked and hidden, but it's a little more work, so I respect you if you just want to lock instead of locking and hiding. So my IK are translate only, my FK are rotate only, my root is translate and rotate. These are more IK, they're translate only. And the placement control shouldn't have any channels locked because this is your main control for rotating, scaling, moving, and doing all the cool things. I'm going to make sure that placement is also on the controls layer. And now this flour sack is good to go, and I can give it to animators and they can mess around with it and do crazy things. So that is the end of the flour sack rig. Why did you decide to not be yellow? So that is the end of the flour sack rig, and we should be good to go now. So good luck with your flour sack. I hope that when it's done you will have just as much fun as I did.